Princess Leonor's secret struggle with the crown. Something quietly shifted, and almost no one noticed why it matters right now. Not in a speech, not in a headline, but in the space between expectation and reality. There was a moment where the weight became visible. Brief, controlled, almost missed. And yet, once you catch it, everything looks different. Because this isn't about celebration or ceremony. It's about pressure. And it's happening right now. Behind the scenes, something has tightened. Choices that once felt symbolic now carry consequence. Silence suddenly speaks louder than words. And that's where this gets interesting. Because what's unfolding isn't dramatic on the surface. It's subtle, strategic, psychological. A quiet shift that signals a deeper struggle, not against people, but against the crown itself. A micro-reward appears when you notice it, the restraint. The measured pace. The absence of spontaneity. These aren't accidents. They're signals. But this wasn't random. Before, the path felt guided. Now, it feels negotiated. Before, expectations were distant. Now, they're immediate. Before, observation felt ceremonial. Now, it's constant. Here's the part most people overlook: pressure doesn't arrive loudly. It accumulates. Psychologists call it cognitive load, the invisible strain of holding too many roles at once while never being allowed to falter. And that strain leaves traces. In posture, in pauses, in the careful calibration of emotion. What happened next changed the meaning of all of this. A small adjustment, almost invisible, revealed something larger. The crown doesn't just grant purpose. It demands sacrifice, quietly, consistently, without negotiation. Micro-reward. You realize the struggle isn't external. It's internal, a constant balancing act between self and symbol. But there's one detail that explains everything. Control. Not power, control. Over-expression, over-timing, over-perception. Philosophers of leadership have long noted that the higher the role, the narrower the margin for authenticity. And here, that margin is shrinking. Expected versus actual, what people imagine versus what's required. And that raises a much bigger question. How do you grow when every move is already interpreted? Here's where the escalation tightens. Each appearance now carries subtext. Each decision invites analysis. Each silence becomes a message. This is the attention economy at its sharpest, where every second watched increases the stakes. Micro-reward. You begin to sense the isolation. Not loneliness, isolation. The kind that comes from standing in a role no one else can fully share. Sociologists call it positional solitude. Being surrounded, yet singular. And then something subtle happens again. A moment of restraint where expression would have been natural. A pause where reaction would have been expected. That pause is the struggle. What happened next didn't look like conflict. But it was. A conflict between becoming and being. Between personal rhythm and institutional time. Here's the part most people miss: the crown doesn't arrive all at once. It settles, slowly, layer by layer, until one day, childhood isn't gone, it's absorbed. Micro-reward, clarity hits. The struggle isn't dramatic, it's disciplined. And discipline is exhausting. Before versus now becomes undeniable. The freedom of reaction has narrowed. The cost of error has risen. Authority figures in psychology describe this as role compression, when identity must bend to function. And the bending leaves marks. What happened next deepened the pattern. Expectation began arriving faster than preparation. Decisions became symbolic before they were personal. And every step forward carried a shadow, not of failure, but of permanence. Here's the escalation. Loop renewing itself. Once permanence enters the picture, nothing feels temporary anymore. Micro-reward. You feel the weight. And then comes the quiet realization. The crown isn't worn. It's carried. Every day. In restraint. In silence. In composure. This isn't resistance. It's endurance. And the struggle isn't about rejecting the role. It's about surviving the transformation intact. What happens next will never be announced. There will be no declaration. No turning point moment. Just a continued narrowing between who she is allowed to be and who she must represent. And that's the future implication. Not collapse. Not rebellion. But adaptation. The kind that reshapes a person from the inside out. And once you see it this way, it's impossible to unsee. And here's where the tension deepens. Because adaptation has a cost. Every time restraint wins over instinct, something subtle is traded away. Not visibly, not dramatically, but internally. Psychologists describe this as identity negotiation, the slow recalibration of self when personal impulse must constantly defer to role. And that negotiation never stops. Micro-reward. You realize the struggle isn't episodic. It's continuous. What looks like composure is actually compression. Emotion folded inward. Expression filtered. Not because it's forbidden, but because it's risky. Before, reactions could be human. Now, reactions must be symbolic. And that difference changes everything. Here's the part most people overlook: pressure doesn't break people immediately. It reshapes them first, quietly, incrementally, until one day, the reshaped version feels permanent. And then something subtle happens again. A moment where hesitation replaces certainty. A moment where instinct pauses for permission. That pause is telling. Micro-reward. You notice how decision-making slows when consequences multiply. Philosophers of responsibility have long argued that power isn't heavy, inevitability is. When paths narrow, every choice echoes longer. And here, echoes are everywhere. What happened next wasn't visible. But it mattered. The absence of reaction became the reaction. Silence carried intention. Stillness communicated control. In high-stakes environments, experts call this strategic minimalism, saying less to preserve authority. But minimalism has a shadow. Because the less you express, the more others project. Expectations grow louder. Interpretations multiply. And suddenly, the struggle isn't just internal, it's externalized through everyone watching. Micro-reward. You feel the tightening circle. This is the paradox of the crown. Visibility increases. Privacy evaporates. And yet, understanding decreases. Everyone sees, few truly know. Before verses now become psychological. Before, mistakes taught lessons. Now, mistakes redefine narratives. And that changes how risk feels. What happened next deepened the isolation. Not physical distance, emotional distance. The kind created when relatability becomes liability. Sociologists call it asymmetrical empathy. Many feel toward you, but few can feel with you. Micro-reward. The loneliness becomes clear, not from absence, but from imbalance. And here's the escalation tightening again. Because once awareness of the burden sets in, it never fully leaves. Every room is read. Every reaction weighed. Every moment scanned for implication. The crown becomes a lens, everything passes through it. Not just actions, thoughts. That's the secret struggle. Not rebellion, not fear, but vigilance. Constant, exhausting vigilance. And yet, here's the quiet truth most never consider: this vigilance also builds something else. Control, precision, presence, micro-reward. You see, the transformation isn't only loss. The struggle shapes capability. It forges discipline. It sharpens perception. But it does so by demanding pieces in return. And the exchange is permanent. What happens next won't look different on the surface. That's the deception. The real shift is internal. Where spontaneity gives way to strategy, and instinct learns to wait. That's the cost of the crown. And once you recognize that the struggle is not against the role, but within it, it becomes impossible to unsee.